chosen of Maradona, Careca and Carnevale, but they are all available today. Dino's Juventus have been in European action in midweek, and they just got through to the semi-finals of the UEFA Cup. Today their sweeper Roberto Tricella is back after missing 5 games with injury. The number 2, Dario Bonetti, was their scorer against Napoli in Turin back in November, a 1-1 draw that day, but he was also sent off. Well, Diego Maradona needs to be at his very best, one would think, as Napoli get the game underway. They've got to hope that Milan continue to stumble. They're away to Lecce this afternoon and tumbling Maradona straight away. And Juventus clearly recognising the threat. It was something of a combined challenge, I think. Gallia with the first nudge, and Maradona really survived that, and then it was Alexander Zavarov who got him on the floor. Well, he looks okay, but he has had back problems in recent weeks. Maradona's body has taken so much pounding on the football field that maybe he's got the resilience to quickly shrug it off, but he's not moving freely at the moment, and Napoli will be concerned, very concerned about that, as Renica tidies things up at the back. Juventus, the last side to win here in the league almost a year ago, a 4-2 success, and really the meetings between the two sides over the last few seasons in the league and in the UEFA Cup have produced terrific games with bags of goals. Will we get the same in the particular circumstances today? Juventus will have to just keep going with their own slim hopes for winning the title. They would expect to have to get maximum points in their 5 remaining games and hope that Napoli and Milan just die on their feet, really. Krippa's header. Zavarov has given it away. And then Careca can't control, unusually for him. Here's De Agostini for Juventus. It looks as though Ferrara has the responsibility of picking up Schillaci. Schillaci with 13 goals this season, one more than Maradona. De Agostini with the free kick. Gallia making a late run forward. And a straightforward catch by Giuliani. And Napoli beginning this game at a cracking pace, emphasising the need for a really positive performance today after some disappointing results. They didn't play too badly last week when they were beaten in Genoa by Sampdoria. And Maradona looking for Careca, who's got in front of the goalkeeper. And Tacconi was running this way and that. Confusion caused by Maradona's clip cross and the fact that Careca just got in front of the goalkeeper first of all. The first scare for Juventus, but they've survived it. Olenikov, who's been in excellent form for them. Marocchi. Bonetti. Olenikov doing well again. was splendidly done by Maradona. Look at that. Well, if he's in the mood, we could be in for a treat here. And Juventus might be made to really suffer. This is Crippa. Oh, well hit! Off the post! De Napoli. Maradona's there. Goal! Goal for Napoli. Maradona. His 13th of the season. It's come in the 13th minute. And it was unlucky for Tacconi, who did very well to touch Crippa's fantastic shot onto the top of the post. De Napoli didn't lose his concentration, nor did Maradona. They went for goal and they got it. An instant turn, an immediate shot. Rui Barros. And if Juventus had come here with defensive intentions, which really haven't been too much in their makeup this season, but if they'd wanted to sit back and play on the break, they'll have to think again. De Napoli. Carnevale holding off Brio. Spotting De Napoli in support. Careca. Crippa, who loves to cut in from the left and hit those shots with his right foot, curls across now. Well, the Napoli fans who've had to endure some difficult matches and some poor results in the last 6 weeks or so, in a buoyant mood at the moment. Although Ferrara came off the worse, it's a free kick against him. Alenikov. De Agostini. De Napoli got in the way. Alenikov. Oh, and Rui Barros not quite tall enough in the end. De Agostini got the cross in with his weaker foot, and maybe Rui Barros was surprised with the pace on the ball. He was looking for what would have been a very good position. It's always a spectacular setting here. Back from Gallia, who looks as though he's got the job of policing Maradona. Not a task you would envy him. Bonetti. Schilacci resuming his duel with Ferrara, but De Napoli really nipped it in the bud. So far, Careca and Carnevale really pushing well forward for Napoli, and Maradona coming from deeper positions, but always prepared to be the furthest forward, as he is here. And bumped down by Cicella. It was a ball that Maradona was never going to win that high off the ground, and he's made sure that he's won the free kick. The computer here keeping a check on the number of fouls on Maradona, but that's down as only the second. And Tricella believed, I think, that the referee was conned then. Oh, when the head's cleared, he'll take the free kick himself. It's a deep one, Franchini! Forced his way in front of Aleynikov then, and having got to the ball first, would wonder whether he might have done a little better with it. He's popped up on a number of big occasions, Franchini, with important goals. And he led the race with Aleynikov then. Franchini back defending with Crippa, who'd filled in behind him, losing out to Marocchi. Schilacci. But Napoli get Crippa into a position again where he can run from midfield, but Tricella moved out to stop that emphatically and has continued his move forward and is found by De Agostini. And then Gallia loses out. Tricella's out of position, but he's on his way back now. Marocchi. That's Fusi's pass. Beautifully delivered. And Maradona got the run of the ball, and they've got his shirt pulled by Tricella. They used to say about the great Pelé that he was prepared to play the ball off opponents' shins deliberately. Maybe Maradona is of the same mind. No doubt about the legitimacy of the free kick. Taccone agitated, and the wall likewise. Maradona takes it. Oh! He has done it once more. Whatever the barrier, he can bypass it. In the end, only 4 in the wall. It curled over Marocchi's head, and Taccone, at the full extent of his dive, couldn't get there. A masterful free kick, and Albertino Bigon not showing his delight, but Maradona really on song. 2 to him inside the opening half hour, and he does look so sharp after all the difficulties he's had this season. As if to say to the watching world, and this fixture being beamed all around the globe, as if to say, just wait for the World Cup, I'm ready. I'm going to show you again that I am the best. Crippa. Pushed by Carnevale. Well, just looking down the list of Juventus defeats, they've not been beaten in the league this season by as many as 2 goals, but they're 2 adrift here. Zavarov setting out to improve on that poor position. Here's Careca though. Maradona started to go outside him. Careca wasn't going to wait for any help. Well, Maradona got a bit too close in the end, but still he's making things happen. Beautiful cross, handball. Well, you could say, I suppose, that Careca saw that done in the World Cup of '86 by the player who clipped the ball above his head then. I doubt if it passed through his mind as this developed, with Maradona showing strength to win the ball, great resilience to keep going, and the clip cross was well executed. Napoli clearly enjoying being second in the table, really, in every respect, except it just makes them less than favourites to win the championship. But there's less pressure. Milan are feeling the strain as leaders, and Napoli looking like a side that might be able to sprint away with it as the season draws to a close. It's the best I've seen them play for several months. And although Juventus are struggling, that really is being imposed on them. Marocchi trying to change that with just the sort of determined work that he's supplied regularly this season from midfield. Carnevale having to get behind the ball twice in a matter of seconds, really, as Napoli concentrate now on seeing it through safely to half-time with those 2 goals in the bank. Takes it. Here's D'Agostini. Oh, it must be! It must be! No! Well, they got in each other's way. Rui Baros and Alenikov, I think it was. After Giuliani couldn't hang on here. Touched off by Bonetti. D'Agostini really connected well. And case of too many cooks spoiling the broth. Bonetti. Carnevale still chasing and challenging. Really, it's been the sort of first half that you could say that Diego Maradona has dedicated to the Napoli supporters, who haven't always agreed with everything he's done on and off the field over the course of this season, but he has simply delighted them here in a crucial game. 2 terrific goals have turned the tide. Pierluigi Casiraghi, with that damaged nose and 2 black eyes, is on for the second half for Juventus. He's replaced Alexander Zavarov. Napoli, good value for the 2-0 lead, although they just slipped a little towards half-time when Juventus started to force the tempo of the game their way, really for the first time this afternoon. Brio wanting players forward with a little more purpose. Fusi met the free kick, played back by Marocchi, and Gallia managed to find a yard inside the Napoli penalty area. Well, Napoli going to start the second half the way they finished the first, which was not doing themselves quite the justice that they had done for most of that first period. Ronica. Juventus got through the quarter-final of the UEFA Cup with a second leg game against Hamburg 4 days ago. They were 2 up from the away game and they were beaten 2-1 in Turin, so it was a close call. And the stress of the later stages of that game just might have a wearying effect here in what's already turned out to be a demanding experience for them. Marocchi takes the free kick. Kaziragi up well, not worrying about his facial damage. Trocella in the sweeper's role. As well as playing out their league programme and operating in Europe. Remember, Juventus still have the second leg of the Italian Cup final to play after a 0-0 against Milan in the first. The second leg is away. Maradona. No room in which to manoeuvre that time, but Carreca found space and it had an exhibition feel to it, and in the end Napoli did need a greater sense of purpose. Maradona, I think, apologising for losing the ball then. Well, Ronica is coming off, and Marco Baroni, who's had to deputise for him for plenty of matches this season. It's not a season that Ronica will look back with any great relish because of his fitness worries. And with only 4 minutes gone in the second half, Baroni is on again. Marocchi's free kick. Well, it's another sign that Juventus come out with a real sense of purpose for the second half, that they believe there might still be a road to recovery. Trocella. There's a push by Gallia. Napoli's remaining games after this one: away to Atalanta, Alessio getting warmed up for Juventus. Napoli away to Atalanta, home to Bari, away to Bologna, and then home to Lazio. Oh, and what's happening here? Benetti brushed aside Carlo Longhi then, and look at Brio. Now that's sensible from the older man, Dario Benetti, who was sent off, remember, when these two teams met in November in Turin. Close to a similar problem here, one would think. Well, first Maradona went down, then Carnevale. Benetti was in the thick of it again. But just to hark back to the incident with the referee, I think the referee actually laid a hand on Dario Benetti first. Tacconi will be hoping to lay a hand on the ball if it's going to be a Maradona free kick, or indeed any sort of free kick on target. And all that agitation, the legacy of Napoli's second goal. Oh, it was Carreca. Maradona a decoy that time. A Brazilian bender this time, but it didn't bend quite enough. Marocchi. Tricella, nicely played. Marocchi trying to draw defenders towards him. Oh, Rui Barros, pulled back by Baroni, penalty for Juventus. And the substitute did rather a silly thing then. Marocchi caused Napoli the first problem. It ran off Ferrara, and Rui Barros was more nimble than the bigger Baroni, who had to grab at the collar of Rui Barros' shirt, and he clearly pulled him back. De Agostini missed his last penalty for Juventus a couple of months ago, but he scores now. And at 2-1, Juventus in a position here to maybe capitalise on Napoli concern. De Agostini, who is normally very accurate from the spot, and I think had got 10 in a row successfully before he missed his last one against Ascoli. Obstruction by Alenikov. But Napoli must be thinking, well, we played so well in the first half. The game seemed to be ours for the taking. And now at 2-1, who knows? Well, he very nearly made up for giving away the penalty then. Tacconi reacted very sharply indeed. We've grown to expect that. Solid header, and in fact it was only, what, halfway up the goal. He did well to get it over the top. The corner worked short. With help from De Napoli, Maradona goes on. He's irresistible at the moment. Juventus were terrified then, but they weren't frozen stiff with fear, because two players in the end moved out to quell the danger at the expense of the corner, as Maradona went on and on. He'll take the corner himself. Oh, it bobbled in off Brancini's knee, I think. A touch of luck when Napoli needed it to re-establish their control, and maybe Juventus simply mesmerised here by the Maradona corner. But they really should have cleared it. 3-1. And how did the ball get that far? Brancini deflected it in. Well, the first priority really for Juventus, having got it back to 2-1, was to just consolidate that position. Another goal past them, and the recovery would begin to look very difficult, and that indeed is the picture now that Napoli have got their third goal. Alessio's been waiting to get on. Brio is replaced, and the substitute would have liked to crack at 2-1 and a chance to really turn the game round, but they're going uphill now, Juventus. Maradona's Mastery of the ball in evidence again. Carreca, who's had a stop-start season with injuries, hasn't really looked at his very best today. Here's Alessio. Tricella. Maradona changed direction superbly, and Carreca gave it back to him. Oh, will he give it back to him again? No. And the crowd bellow their disapproval because of that. Schillaci. Ferrara with help from Napoli again, who does so much unselfish work in the midfield for Napoli. Tricella. Alenikov. Kripa. Carnevale looking for the return. Gallia. Now Tricella. Kaziragi coming a bit deeper to get a feel of the ball. Gallia. Juventus still full of good ideas, but they've really met Napoli on the wrong day. I would have thought Albertino Bigon would have stressed to them before the game if it needed stressing. But a victory here was of paramount importance, and a win with style could just stimulate the surge to be champions again, particularly with Milan in something of a muddle. Carreca, he's away, he's got the acceleration, he must score now. Oh, against the post, and Dario Bonetti, who was the defender on the line, had slipped and was pretty powerless if the shot had been lifted above him. Well, that would have finished Juventus off totally. Rubaros, Alenikov. And they might be caught on the break here by Fusi finding Maradona. Where did he come from? That was Kripa looking back in anger. Tricella. Oh, it's gone wide from Schillaci. Well, a chance at each end. First of all, let's look back at Napoli's effort, with Carreca showing impressive pace. And Tacconi did well to keep it out the first time. And Carreca will be upset there that he didn't add to his season's goal tally. And Schillaci likewise. Maradona is coming off. Massimo Mauro replaces him, and listen to the reception. It's almost as if they've replaced him so that Maradona can take an individual bow. Well, the appreciation. And Diego Maradona, boots off, job done, heads for the showers. pay credit to Juventus for really keeping Napoli on their toes in the second half, and if they'd been able to keep it at 2-1 for a little longer, they might have found the opposition weakening under the tension of it all as the match actually reached this stage. But once it became 3-1, that wasn't so likely to happen. Careca to Napoli. Bonetti. Well, the first thing the Napoli players will want to know when they get off the pitch here, they might not even have to wait till they get to the dressing room, is what is the news from Lecce, where Milan are playing. It's almost over now. Alenikov. It's been a high quality game in keeping with the occasion. And it's a game that's going to bring 2 more points for Napoli. Casiraghi still optimistic in the middle. And that was Alessio. Juventus, who've not lost the league game by 2 clear goals this season, are about to experience that fact. The final whistle goes, and Diego Maradona came alive here, particularly in the first half. Dino Zoff reflects that his team were beaten deservedly in the end by a Napoli side that this time revelled in the battle at the top of the table, where they failed towards the end in the last 2 seasons. Napoli 3, Juventus 1, they're still very much in it. Let's straight away check on Milan, beaten in their 2 previous league games, but safely into the semi-final of the European Cup. 4 days before they came to Lecce, Milan in white, a sighted goal for Massaro, but from way out he couldn't put the ball in. And after 6 minutes, trouble for Milan. A back header by their former striker Virdis, and Benedetti beating Pazzagli, the league leaders trailing again. And Virdis, whose 5-season spell with Milan only ended last year, looking for another goal for Lecce. Milan needing some inspiration now, and Franco Baresi supplied it with Marco Simone's help, an excellent equaliser 10 minutes before half-time. Into the second half, Frank Rijkaard to Angelo Colombo. Marco van Basten involved in the move. From Colombo's centre, van Basten turning in his 19th goal of the season to put Milan in front. But Milan still nervous after recent events, not quite sure of themselves. Rijkaard could have settled those nerves. Milan finding a lot of room now. And Van Basten teeing up Colombo. But 2-1 was enough in the end to restore the leaders to winning ways. Next it's Inter, who'd beaten Milan last week, while Atalanta were letting in 4 goals at Bari, and both sides carrying on where they left off. Giuseppe Bergami, playing as a sweeper, put clear by Aldo Serena, 1-0 to Inter, 6 minutes gone. 3 minutes later, Serena headed back the long cross from Ferri, Lothar Matthäus with his 10th of the season, which was followed by a fluke from Pepe Baresi, scoring on the same day as brother Franco did for Milan. 3-0 became 4-0 in an astonishing display by the champions, Serena setting up the chance again for Nicola Berti this time. Claudio Canigia forced an own goal by Ferri 1 minute after half-time. 4-1, before Aldo Serena strolled through to collect a deserved goal for himself, Inter's 5th. Then Jurgen Klinsmann got into the act. Atalanta being savaged here, 6-1 down, and when Peron went feet first at Serena and conceded a penalty, it was Klinsmann again to take his haul to 13. Atalanta did have the final word. Niccolini's free kick, the biggest tally in a game this season, into 7, Atalanta 2. Sampdoria started the day in third place, but in Bologna looked tired from their European travels. Bruno Giordano cutting through their defences here. Bonetti couldn't quite reach the cross. Sampdoria's Cerezo injured in the incident and replaced by Lana. 3 minutes into the second half now. Bonini heading on for Giordano to nudge Bologna into the lead. But straight away Sampdoria should have equalised, an out-of-character miscue by Roberto Mancini. Mancini did connect cleanly with this cross. Dossena driving for goal. The Sampdoria, who've reached the semi-finals of the European Cup Winners' Cup, not at their most incisive. Bologna finished with this high-class move between Vast, the West German striker, and Giordano. Good save by Pagliuca, but the one goal which went past him was enough to send Sampdoria to their 6th defeat. Roma's target to finish high enough in the league to qualify for next season's European competition. Verona much improved recently. Rudi Voller denied by a former teammate, the Verona goalkeeper Angelo Peruzzi. But Peruzzi completely beaten after 16 minutes by a thunderbolt of a free kick from Bruno Conti. And Verona's recent unbeaten run under severe threat. Particularly when Thomas Berthold sent Voller away for Roma's second. Verona having to attack now, and Acerbi's forced a flying save from Tancredi. But that need to go forward left gaps in the second half. Substitute Stefano Desideri giving Voller his 12th goal of the season. Rudi Voller on a hat-trick now, a chance for it here, but Peruzzi had his near post covered. Desideri back in action after a 2-month absence, back to great effect. With Voller's help, he made it 4-0. That was after 73 minutes. And 3 minutes later, after some great work by Rizzitelli, Desideri delivered his 10th of the season. The Verona bubble well and truly burst, but to their credit they kept going forward, and Magrin pulled back 1 goal with 11 minutes left. Almost another here, a fine block by Tancredi from Puchedu. And 3 minutes from time, Puchedu did give Verona the bonus of a second goal, as Roma rather eased off at the end. Cremonese and Ascoli both below Verona in the table at the start of play. Top scorer Desotti back for Cremonese, though he couldn't force the ball in here with 2 attempts. 29 minutes gone now, Chiori's free kick, and Gualco, the tall defender, angled his header perfectly, 1-0 to Cremonese. Laurieri and the Ascoli goal concerned here at Rizzitelli's cross. In the second half, Laurieri did splendidly when Desotti had time to line up his shot. But after 54 minutes, Chiori, who'd made the first, hit a scorching free kick to score the second. After 4 consecutive draws, Cremonese might have feared the worst had Aloisi's cracking shot gone in. Svetkovic did cut the deficit in the last minute, but Cremonese held on for only their 5th win of the season. Ascoli seemed bound for the 2nd division. Fiorentina have just reached the semi-finals of the UEFA Cup, but with only 1 win in 17 league games, their situation giving their followers cause for concern. Renato Busso's overhead kick certainly showed the right kind of ambition. Cesena concentrated on defence in the first half. In the second, Del Bianco very nearly rounded off Agostini's accurate cross. Cesena's need for points as pressing as Fiorentina's, and they didn't help their cause when Pierre Leone was sent off for a second bookable offence. The This was the incident, and Cesena down to 10 men for the last 38 minutes. Even then, they might have won the game if the referee hadn't seen this episode differently. Del Bianco feeling sure he'd been fouled by Landucci, the goalkeeper. Fiorentina survived that scare, but found the Cesena goalkeeper Rossi resolute, stopping first from Roberto Baggio. And then when Fiorentina regained possession, the shot from Lubos Kubek, which was deflected, dealt with expertly by Rossi. Fiorentina 0, Cesena 0. Genoa had gone 8 games without a win. Lazio loses in their last 2. But scoring first here, Dragucci's shot flying in off the former World Cup winner Fulvio Collavati. Genoa equalised early in the second half. Fontolan at the far post from a Ruben Paz corner. Ruben Paz here and Aguilera, the Uruguayans trying to outshine Lazio's Uruguayan Ruben Sosa. Ruotolo's cross cut out by Fiore. Ruben Sosa's free kick now. Amarildo just on as a substitute, heading across goal for Bertoni to score. 2-1 to Lazio. Genoa fought back well. Ruben Paz so close to the equaliser here. And then another Fontolan header did the trick. His 8th goal of the season. It gave the home side some satisfaction with 1 point. Finally, Udinese, another of the relegation candidates, against mid-table Bari. A problem for Udinese after 31 minutes. Their defender Galparoli injured in a clash of heads, and he was carried off. 0-0 at half-time, but an eventful second half. Udinese winning a penalty here through the efforts of Mattei. He was tripped by Losetto. Balbo scored the Argentinian's 9th goal in his first season in Italy. Bari looking to fight back through their Brazilian Gerson, but their chances weakened when Maialaro, already shown the yellow card, committed another foul and off he went. But Losetto, who conceded the penalty, made amends when he headed in a Gianpaolo free kick, 1-1. Then the match had an extraordinary finish. Udinese regained the lead. Substitute Bruniera rounding off a short corner routine. But a minute later, Bari bounced back, and Losetto, a defender by trade, he was the hero for them again. Udinese 2, Bari 2.